Top NFL offseason storylines. We're beginning the offseason, man. So I want to go over the top 5 things I'm gonna be looking at, man. First thing I want to do, I want to talk about stars looking for new homes. We heard this week he got announced yesterday, right before the Super Bowl, that Niners wide receiver Deebo Samuel has been granted a chance to be able to look for another team to be able to trade with. So those two are going to be working side by side to find him a new team. He wants out. Myles Garrett started off Super Bowl week last week with the announcement with a press release that he doesn't want to be a Cleveland Brown anymore. He wants to play for championships and be in Super Bowls, and he feels that the Cleveland Browns are far away. Now, Cleveland Browns general manager said you could offer him 3 first-round picks. He's not trading Myles Garrett. So I feel like this is going to be a standoff. And then it got announced that Cooper Kupp, that the Rams are done with Cooper Kupp. They're going to trade him. And we even had Puka Nacua talk about that last week on Radio Row, and he's like, yo, I got to take on more of the load now. Pause. I'm really interested to see where these 3 guys are going to go. Obviously, Myles Garrett is going to be the big fish here. But one thing about the NFL, things like this is something that in past years, you'd be like, well, they're not going anywhere. I think all 3 of these gentlemen are going to be on new teams next year. I know Myles Garrett. I know the Browns general manager's trying to play, nigga, you don't run this right now. But when a player says he wants to go, 9 times out of 10, he wants to go, because this is not a money situation like it was where Lamar Jackson told the Ravens, trade me. It was because the Ravens didn't want to pay him that he said this. They can be standoffs, but if Myles Garrett is firm in that, he's going to be traded, man. So I can see him going to a great team. Keep this nigga away from Philadelphia. Do not get any ideas, Howie Roseman. Like, I don't want to see Howie Roseman got like that Rob Pelinka vibe to him when it's a BS trade and they end up getting a big fish. Philadelphia sports fans do not need to be more happy than they are right now. I also don't want to see this nigga in Detroit. If I got to see him next to Aiden Hutchinson, I'm going to lose it. Keep him out of the NFC North. Courtney, what do you think about these 3 stars wanting to be out of their situations, and what do you think of some places that you can see these 3 in?
I mean, like you said, Myles Garrett is the big fish. I mean, obviously, I'm always gonna want someone in my. No, stay away from New Orleans. You don't want nothing to do with that. But
why would he leave Cleveland and go to New Orleans? He might as well stay in Cleveland.
Again, can you let me be selfish and delusional?
My fault. Crazy. My fault. Go ahead.
Damn, that's crazy. Anyway, Deebo Samuel is an interesting one because I'm trying to decide if it's worth the headache. Bro, you're not. I'm gonna sound mean. You're not as good
as he thinks,
right? He is. As am I crazy?
No, you're not. Crazy? No, you're not.
Okay, so that being said, I don't want him to end. He said something, I think, about Denver, that Denver could look real nice. I don't need you getting in Bomani's head and making him into. No. We don't need that problem. Don't get him in. I don't need him in Washington, even though Jaden Daniels could use another receiver. Damn, I really don't know. Where is a good fit for Deebo?
I think a good fit for Deebo, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bears fan. I think he would fit in the Ben Johnson offense. I think he would be great there. But if he wants to be on a team that wants to win a championship right away, I could see him in a Buffalo. Add him to what they got out there. That would be really another great weapon for Josh Allen.
Didn't Josh Allen already have issues with a certain wide receiver, and now that certain wide receiver is not playing in Houston?
Yeah, I mean Deebo headache. I don't know if I would qualify him as
better than Deebo Samuel, to be clear.
As a straight up wide receiver, yes.
Correct.
But Deebo's not a headache like Steph. Like Steph, it's not. He gonna be calling CJ a weak ass nigga in about 8 months. I can guarantee it. It's just a matter of time. But I can see him going there. I can see realistic option. It wouldn't shock me if he went to Kansas City. I'll be real. Wouldn't shock me whatsoever. If they're gonna need the wide receiver help. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't shock me whatsoever. Cooper Kupp and Deebo are realistic topics. Not topics, but targets, in my opinion, for the Bears. They're looking for another wide receiver to add with DJ and Rome. Those, I don't think it's gonna cost too much to get Debo. It's definitely not gonna cost that much to get Cooper Kupp, but I don't think it's gonna be something like Myles Garrett's gonna be an asinine price. Like, you gotta be, I don't need my picks to be able to get Myles Garrett, which is why Philly, Detroit stay away. But yeah, those are teams I think. Bang, is there any team? What do you think these three can end up?
Debo, I can see the Chargers. Like, the first three teams that come to mind are the Chargers, are the Ravens, and the Chiefs. Those are the three teams that come to mind off of that. Cooper Kupp, Detroit is a team that comes to mind. Buffalo is another one. And just thinking about how they use the slot. The Chargers again. Like, you could have Ladarius and Cooper over there at the wide receiver position. Outside of that, Myles Garrett. I don't know, because you might have to give up a lot for him. Who's willing to do that?
Right.
You have to be a team that's legit in win now mode and have assets that the Cleveland Browns feel like you can at least start the process of winning now. Like, if what did Khalil Mack get? Like, what is it? 3-1?
Khalil Mack was like 3-1s, and he got a contract extension. He got $115 million contract extension.
I need Howie Roseman to make that call.
And that's the thing that scares me. That's it. It reeks of Eagles.
I need it.
Reeks of Eagles. Go ahead.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah. I was just saying that I need it. Absolutely, I need it. And I mean, Howie Roseman is just,
he's right.
Masterclass. Then that Jahan Dotson, I thought about that last night. I remember he had a touchdown a few weeks ago, and I texted in our group chat. I said, Howie Roseman masterclass. And then he almost scored that touchdown last night. And I'm like, this fucking guy, he cannot keep getting away with this shit. Just, yeah,
anybody who had money on that Dotson play, I know niggas was sick.
Yeah, I need them to go ahead and stay away from. We don't need Deebo Samuel anywhere near that situation.
A team that I think you got to watch out for, and I don't know. We hate this team. I think you have to look out for the Green Bay Packers too.
Oh God!
Like, for any of them, their wide receivers are young. They need a vet over in that wide receiver room, but they could also use some help on that defensive line. And they feel like they can win now. The Green Bay Packers is the team that I'm probably more worried about.
Yeah, I mean, they can have Debo or Kupp, but just stay away from Myles Garrett, please. I don't need those problems. Alex is right. That's how we got Cole Kmet with the Raiders pick in the Khalil Mack trade. Let's go to my next offseason storyline, a nigga that I hate more than anybody on this earth. That is Aaron Rodgers. Got reported this weekend that Aaron Rodgers is on the outs with the Jets. The Jets do not want him back. It's also looking like that Devontae Adams will not be back as well. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. That's the thing that we've known these last couple of years about Aaron Rodgers. Until Aaron Rodgers tells you himself, you have no idea what his actual intentions are. But I think my storyline is, what's Aaron Rodgers going to do? Is he going to find another vet team? Could he find himself in Vegas? Could he find himself in Pittsburgh? Could he find himself in one of these QB needy teams? Is he going to complete the Green Bay Packer leaving Green Bay transition and go end up in Minnesota like that criminal Brett Favre did? That's going to be something that I'm looking to see. And then also he could retire. He can retire. You know what I'm saying? Shane says new Aaron Glenn did water. Yeah, I really think Aaron Glenn had to talk with him. Like, look, nigga, like them little theatrics you had before, you got me fucked up. That's not gonna be working over here, nigga. You and your ayahuasca can go do that on another team because it's not here. And it's also hilarious that just how quickly it went from Jets fans just being so ecstatic about Aaron Rodgers. Now they can't stand that nigga. I said Devontae Adams said himself, okay, Adams show he will retire before he becomes a Chicago Bear. And as a nigga in this rivalry, I appreciate that. Courtney, what do you think Aaron Rodgers is gonna do this offseason?
First off, fuck Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Couldn't be happening to a worse guy. I'm thrilled personally. That being said, I don't know. I feel like, teams that need like the Raiders, like they need a quarterback. And I'm trying to figure out if he's desperate enough to take that job. Who wants to fucking deal with that headache? Honestly.
Get ready to learn Pat McAfee, bud.
Facts. Like, I know he don't want to go out like that, but also, like, who really wants to put up with that shit? Is the juice worth the squeeze at this point? I don't think so. I really don't think so.
So I see Devontae going to Saints play with Carr. Then that nigga, they traded Carr, and he wasn't happy about that. Bang, I know you hate this man just as much as I do. What do you think? Do you think he's going to retire, or do you think he's going to try to find another franchise?
I don't think he's going to retire. I think this is a little bit overblown. Aaron Rodgers is still a very talented QB. It's just that his options might be limited, but he's going to play next year. It's going to be his team that can't get a quarterback. They might leapfrog somebody, all of that. But you're probably going to still need a bridge. And quite honestly, at this point in his career, what better bridge than Aaron Rodgers?
I want to disagree with you, but you are correct. Like I think he's going to end up with the Raiders. Pete Carroll said, I didn't come here to rebuild. Spytech said, we're not here to rebuild. To me, that's the only thing that makes sense. I know there's a lot of smoke about Russell Wilson going to play with his old coach, but as much as I can't stand this nigga, if I gotta choose between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, that's even at this stage of his career, that's an easy question to me. I'm gonna give me the ayahuasca nigga. Like that's who I prefer to have. I can't see him in Pittsburgh. Tomlin ain't finna play that shit. If you think Aaron Glenn wasn't finna play that, Mike Tomlin's definitely not finna play it. And that's Courtney. I think it's what you said. Like, what organization is gonna tolerate it?
Yeah,
and that's why it goes back to the Raiders. If there's any organization that tolerate it, it's the Raiders. That's the only thing that makes sense. That I think that the Vikings are either gonna re-sign Sam or they're gonna roll full with JJ. Definitely can't see the Saints. Courtney, I know you wouldn't want that.
I would end it all.
End it all. And all roads point to the Raiders for me. It's either retirement or the Raiders. One of the R's. Retirement or the Raiders, man. Either way, not gonna lie. I hope all the bad things in the world happen to him and nobody but him. I do not care what happens. If Aaron Rodgers, me and Aaron Rodgers were the only human beings on this earth, and I had the last bottle of water, and I was not dehydrated, I am fully full on water, and this nigga was about to pass out, and I had the last bottle of water on earth, I would throw it on the ground. That's how much I can't stand this nigga. He said Rodgers to the Colts. You know what's funny? That wouldn't surprise me.
Don't disrespect Anthony Richardson. I swear to God, I'm sick of it.
Anthony Richardson is going to be doing podcasts in a year and a half. He's gonna be on here with us in a year and a half. Anthony Richardson wins this. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna be doing on there.
I reviewed this actually. This is crazy.
Anthony Richardson Wednesdays. That's the only thing I can see. But let's move on to the NFL draft. You got the NFL Combine. Combine's like 2.5 weeks. Will be taking place in Indianapolis. It's where it always takes place. In my opinion, one of the most underrated stadiums in the NFL. That is Lucas Oil Stadium. The best parking in the NFL too, in my opinion. It's right there. Like, it's very easy to get in and out of for NFL stadium compared to other NFL stadiums. But a lot of big talents in this draft. You got Heisman winner Travis Hunter. You got Abdul Carter, the standout from Penn State. You got Cam Moore, the standout from Miami. And, of course, you got my boy, Mr. Shedeur Sanders. My question is, this is going to be a number one story as soon as everybody descends upon Indianapolis. Where will Shedeur Sanders go? Coach Prime, who is staying with the Colorado Buffaloes. You know, he's on Rich Eisen doing Radio Row Week, Super Bowl, and Rich asked him, how close were you to going to the Cowboys? And he said it was a lot closer than a lot of people think. But he said at the end of the day, he couldn't do it because he wouldn't coach an NFL team, in his words, saying, without coaching my babies, without coaching his son, he just can't do that. But he said he did think a lot about the money and the fact that he would have had a jet to go everywhere. And he said that Jerry Jones' name in his phone is listed under direct deposit, which I thought was hilarious. But Shedeur, I don't buy this dropping down to 8 nonsense. Deion says from the teams he's talked to, he thinks that he's going top 3. And I agree. I think he's going top 3. I understand the hype around Abdul Carter. I'm actually mad so many people found out about him in the playoffs because I was hoping he was still going to be there at 10 for us. There's zero shot of him being at the 10. I almost want to say zero shot of him getting past pick 3. But you need a quarterback. And that's why I don't understand why Tennessee would go with Travis or go with Abdul Carter when you need to take a risk on Shedeur Sanders and Cam Smith. A lot of people aren't too keen on Shedeur Smith, think he can translate to the NFL. But a lot of people didn't think he could translate from being in the HBCU to now being in a Big Ten team like Colorado. And he did very well there, man. So I think that's going to be the big story. And I think when the smoke clears, I think that he's going to be drafted by the New York Giants. I really think if he gets to pick 3 and he's not there, they're going to scoop him up very, very quickly. Bang, what do you feel about Shedeur, and what do you think he's ultimately going to end up? You think he can still be top 3, or do you think he's going to fall a little bit?
I'm not so sure about that top 3, Jack. Man, I'm not sure because I'm also thinking about the combine. He has to perform at the combine in order to solidify a spot. Is he going to do that though? Is the question.
Yeah.
So I think he falls no lower than 6. That would be perfect for the Raiders, who clearly is a team that they tried to link him with before they start winning towards the end of the season. They should, talking about the Titans, they should get a quarterback though. But is Abdul Carter too good to pass up?
It's a quarterback lead, man. Like, I know he's generational. Like, he looks like Will Anderson looked at Bama. He looks how Will Anderson looks right now. He's a scary good player. But if you ain't got a quarterback, my nigga, you gonna have a Myles Garrett situation. And that's why I think they need to take a chance on Shedeur Cam. Courtney, what do you think about Shedeur's chances to go in the top 3, and what do you think that he will ultimately end up?
What do we think about Shedeur in a Browns uni?
I'd be for it. I'd be for it.
Yeah, I was like, is that crazy? I mean, yeah. They have the 2nd pick, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still partial to Cam Ward, but I could see a scenario where they take Shedeur at 2.
Yeah, I mean, with the Freaky Sean situation, would not shock. Now the question here: does Deion want Shedeur? That's the question right there. Especially when you see their top player and Myles Garrett wanting to be out. That don't help the situation. And that's why I think the Giants would let go of their unspoken rule that we're not going to draft black quarterbacks and lift it for Shedeur Sanders. I think the story around Shedeur is, I don't like it. It kind of reminds me a little bit around the story around Justin Fields when he dropped in the draft. No matter how Justin ended up in the pros, Justin should have been quarterback number 2. If we just going off how it was projected at the time, as soon as Trevor went off to Jacksonville, it should have been Justin in Queens with the Jets. They're doing the same thing here with Shedeur, and I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously, black quarterback, but that because his son is Deion Sanders, that you're getting a lot of unnecessary evaluations by him. This is also typical draft stuff. This is also why I'm so glad, no matter how up and down his rookie season was, that we have Caleb Williams. That 4.5 month period last year made me want to put a bullet in my head. If I had to hear about so-and-so don't want to get here, so-and-so said this about this, and, oh, he ran this at the combine, and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a long couple months for all those teams in the top 10 who are looking for a quarterback, man. So let's go to topic number 4 of the offseason, the Kansas City Chiefs. How do they get better? How do they respond to this? Like, this to me is a lot different than when they lost to Tampa. Not because both were blowouts, obviously, but I think the way it's different is I don't think they left that game with a lot of question marks when they lost to Tampa. You knew Brady was going to retire soon. You knew that this was an NFC team that really relied on Tom Brady. Then when he retired, they were not going to be as potent as they were. But in that game, I didn't see Pat seeing ghosts. I saw Pat seeing ghosts. So that's why I think right here the Chiefs are on a crossroad, coming up on a crossroad. They're either going to shake this off and continue to be the really, really good team they are, who can't be beating the AFC and still make it to the Super Bowl, make that their year-end appearance. But I could also see something. Maybe this is the beginning of a cooling period for the Chiefs. We don't know if Travis Kelce is going to be there. In my opinion, he should be. He dropped a lot of balls last year that would have been big plays and could have changed the game. I mean, if you look back in the first quarter, if he converts that nice throw by Pat on a third down, you maybe got a different ball game because they don't come out of it real quick that early. But I really want to see how they're going to move. Are they going to put their name in the Deebo Samuel hat? Because I think more of the problems, more of the question marks on the offensive side of the ball. So that's what I'm going to be looking at to see. How can this team get better? Like, do they have to make a slight overhaul of the offensive line, or was that just a runoff of them getting dominated like that? Bang, what do you think the Chiefs will do? Or not really will do, but what should they do? What holes do you think they are lacking the most right now heading into this offseason?
They need to invest in the defense, in the trenches. Like Chris Jones, even though he's dominant, he's getting a little older. He's getting a little long in the tooth. So they got to fix them trenches. You see that they moved their right tackle to their right guard to tackle.
Yeah.
So they're still out there finessing and stuff. They need to invest in the trenches. If they're not investing in the trenches, you're not giving Pat a chance. That's simply it.
Courtney, where do the Chiefs need to get better, and how you think they can do it?
Yeah, I think they need to improve their offensive line for sure. That was glaring weakness that I witnessed last night. I know Patrick Mahomes kind of stepped into a lot of those sacks that he ate. But yeah, no, that offensive line was ran a little ragged. Also, I know we've had the conversation, it doesn't matter who Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball to. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it 100% does.
Honestly, I could, who Cooper Kupp. I feel like that would be a good relationship. Cooper Kupp and Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying I want it. I'm just saying I think it would be a good fit for the both of them.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me whatsoever. I could definitely see Cooper Kupp dominating in Kansas City, and you have how did McVay let him get out of there? Look how great they've been. He said they're definitely going to tighten up the O&D lines. They could be keeping Trey Smith. Like I said, I believe Trey Smith hit the market when I see it. I just don't buy that he will. Final NFL offseason topic, and then Courtney can enjoy the rest of her break because we will be off for 2 weeks after this. Are we going to see the way that first downs are measured changed? This is something that's been debated all year, not just in Chiefs games, but across the league, just how bad it is to actually measure first downs. Could it be an electronic thing? Because it's kind of crazy to me that we're in the year of our Lord 2025 and we still doing manual measuring. Like, you got every technology in the world, especially if you're the NFL. Nigga, they had 8K, 10K cameras on Kendrick yesterday. Them cameras are so clear, I can see everything. You know what I'm saying? So I know you got the technology to actually see if something's a first down or not. It's to the point where we're blaming refs left and right. If there was one thing that annoyed me to holy hell last night, was everybody complaining when the Chiefs got a call. And by the way, the Eagles got way more calls. They got all the calls yesterday, but the few that the Chiefs got, here we go again. And so to avoid that confusion, for a lot of people think the Chiefs shouldn't have been there last night. That it should have been Buffalo because Josh Allen did get that first down 2 weeks ago. That would really correct that. But for some funny reason, I don't think the NFL wants to correct it for some reason. Courtney, do you think that the way we measure first downs will be changed, or you think the NFL just don't care?
Yeah, it's funny that you just said that, right? Like, does the NFL actually want to change it, right? It's kind of like we talk about, big baseball fan, we talk about the strike zone and how we need to automate the strike zone. Why does MLB need to do that? What do they gain, I guess, from doing that? And in this case, what does the NFL gain in taking the human element out of refereeing? Now, listen, I don't disagree. I think they need to change the way that it's measured because I don't think it should be subjective. I think if something is a first down, it should be a first down. And it shouldn't be, like that Josh Allen incident a couple of weeks ago, where you had one guy on this side of the line and then one guy on the other side of the line with two totally different calls. I feel like there's objective truths that you can't ignore. So I do think it needs to change. I do think we need to have some kind of electronic marker. But I mean, again, what does the NFL gain by doing that? What do they gain?
Right, I agree. Bang, do you think the way this is gonna be measured change?
If you can make it electronic, then yeah. Outside of that, what's the damn point? Like, if I kind of thought they was doing that already. They not?
Well, they said it's something that's going to be discussed, but there's a lot of media members who don't think this is going to get approved for the reasons that me and Courtney just said. Like, I don't think the NFL cares like that. Like, I think they like
they could do it. They could literally
they could easily do it.
Like tennis, how they have like the thing that shows you the ball on the line, like in real time, right? That you're telling me you can't. I can literally see my face in a crowd in AT&T Stadium. You can literally see like the panoramic shots where you can zoom in and see like details on people's faces. You could very easily implement something like this. But again, what do they gain from doing it?
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line.